Hey guys, this is Chodaro, and today we're going to make this super cool bracelet called the Dare to Jump bracelet. It is a hook-only design created by our favorite hook-only queen, Suzanne HB, also known as Crazy Just Might Work on Instagram. So this one here I made with a jewelry chain down the center, but the original design calls for just a regular rubber band single chain. It does also call for jump rings, any size, color, or type of your choice, as long as you can get 2 bands through the ring. So this one in particular, I use 10mm jump rings. For the tutorial, I will use 8mm. The only difference that I see is the jump rings are so big that they do flop around a little bit and do not stay quite straight. It still comes out beautiful and doesn't bother me one bit. I will still wear it as is. So we're going to grab our supplies and get started. Okay, so as far as jump rings, these are what I'm going to use today. They are actually jewelry rings purchased at Michael's, and they are threadable. They have a hole on both sides. So I like these because they're thick, and these are an 8mm. Just to give you an idea, here are some other jump rings. These are actually just these are jump rings. They're heavy gauge. You have to use the jewelry pliers to get them apart. Those are a 10mm, and these are a 10mm as well. And these little ones, you could not use your rainbow loom hook. You'd have to use a very small hook, but it will work. You could get 2 bands through those, and more of a decorative ring there, just to give you some ideas. And if you were to use a chain down the center, and if you're familiar with my curb chain designs, that's what type of chain you would want to use. One that is flat, and as long as it is flat, it will lay flat in your design. So if you are interested in learning how to add the chain to this design, I will show you at the end of the tutorial. So if you are wanting to use that, you might want to fast forward, but for the main tutorial, I'm just going to use a single rubber band chain. So I've already gone ahead and made my chain out of these dual layer black and white rainbow loom bands, and unfortunately I don't have enough jump rings to do a whole full wrap. So what you want is, for every band that you have on your chain, you need 2 rings. So once you do your single chain and it fits your wrist, then you'll know for every band 2 jump rings. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start down here. So I always like to work from the top down because I'm so used to using the jewelry chains, and that's how I have to use it. That's how I loom those, because gravity works in our favor. So I'm going to go ahead and just start in this first chain. I'm not going to start in my cap band. I'm going to start in my first chain here. And that way it's clear where the cap band is, and it's not going to be any rings on there. So what we need to do is we need to add another color or another band through this center chain that will add our jump rings to it. So I'm going to use this out of the Gemstone Pack Red from Rainbow Loom. So I'm just going to stick a band through. So our bracelet is facing to the side. So we just pull a band through, and we want to let that band go, and now it's just sitting in the center. We want to grab a ring, pick up that band again, and then just simply slide that ring on top. But before we close up, we want to take our hook and go down into the next chain, like that. I'm going to let go of that red band on the right there, and then we want to add a jewelry chain to our hook like that. Then we can close it up, And then we want to take that jewelry ring and pull it over that red band and over the hook like that. And that puts those two bands on top. Okay? So you don't need to take this hook out, but I'm going to show you an easier way. So this is the Rainbow Loom prototype hook that we're hoping to see out in stores soon. But using a crochet hook, and it doesn't have to be a double-sided, having this long stem here, an easy way to do this is you can just add jump rings to your hook. So I'm going to stick this back in here as I had it. Okay, and now we're going to go ahead and add our next band. So again, we just pull a band through all the loops that are on our hook. So through the red, through the chain, and through the red again. But now, since I have these loops or these rings on my hook, I can just slide one down. Makes it just a tad easier. Then we come down into our next link and put our hook through, let go of that back band, add our jump ring to the hook, close it up, and pull that jump ring up and over like that. And then we just repeat. So we're pulling that band through all 4 loops, sliding a jump ring down, going down into the next chain link, adding a jump ring to the hook, close it up, and pull it up and over like that. And you want to keep checking yourself, because trust me, I screwed up and missed loops and links and jump rings my first go. So okay, so we pulled that band through, and we pull our jewelry up and over, come down to the next link before we close up, add our ring, and then pull it up and over. So it's rather simple. Whenever you do go to reattach this band that is hanging, you want to make sure that it is straight. So you can see that it's straight there. I'm going to pull you out just a little. Oops, sorry. Okay, so I'm going to go a little bit faster. Pull that through, add my ring, come down to the next link, jump ring, add the other end of my band, and pull the ring over. Always want to make sure that once you add that jump ring in that band, that you pull it up and over that hook. And they're going to move around, and that's quite okay. So I don't have any more jump rings on my hook, so I'm going to pull my band through, release the band, grab my jump ring, and then pull it back on, put my band through my link, jump ring, close it up. Okay, so I'm going to do one more. Careful that band doesn't slide back through there. So I'm going to come down into where my C-clip or my clip is and put that end through, add my jewelry ring, close it up, and pull the ring up and over like that. So now that is what you should have, and again they're going to move a little bit here and there until we add our border. So to finish it up, I'm just going to take the same color band that I used for my cap band, and I'm going to pull it through all 4 loops on my hook like that and close it up. Now I can take this clip out, and that's what you should have. So you want to make sure, if you give it a pull, make sure that you have every one exactly the same. So if I look at my chains, 2, 2, 2, 2, make sure that you didn't miss any. And I'm going to add my hook back, and that's where you could add your C-clip there. I'm going to add that type of hook. Okay, so that is how we're going to do the center. Yes, it irritates me that these rings aren't all, now they're all in the same order. Alright, so now we're going to start the border. So we're going to come down into our cap band, and we're going to work from the side. So first side, I'm going to pull all these rings up like that, put them that way. Okay, so we have our bracelet to the side. I'm going to alternate my border colors with this. They're the silk, I believe, white, or they used to be the satin white silicone, and again my red. Okay, so first I want to pull a band through and just chain 1. Okay, now we want to start through our jump ring. So sorry about that. Okay, so we have a band through our cap band. I changed mine to red, and so we put the first jump ring on our hook, and so we just want to take a band and just pull it through that jump ring like this. Okay, so I'm going to alternate back to my red, and this next band we're just going to pull it through the first 3 loops on our hook, so the 2 white and the 1 red. Before we close it up, we want to grab this band that's closest to our finger, to our thumb, and we want to slide it underneath the 2 remaining loops on our hook. So oops, I need to use my rainbow loom hook. So hold on, let me change out my hook. This has a better groove. Okay, so I slide it under these 2 bands and then close it up. So essentially, whatever band that you pull through, so our next step will be to put our next jump ring on, and whatever band you pull through just your jump ring like this will go on the inside of your bracelet. And then since I'm using my red in this next band, I pull through the first 3 loops. Then I go back in and recapture that first loop and pull it through these outside loops like this. And then I close it up. My border is going to be white with a red on the inside. Okay, so if you're trying to figure out color, I guess maybe I should have used a white band on there. But so in my case, since I'm alternating, I'm always going to have 2 different color loops on my hook. So that's it. All we're going to do is go through our next ring. I'm going to add a band just through that jump ring. Grab my next band, going through the first 3 loops on my hook, recapture the first band, and pull it under these 2. And I don't want my bands to be twisted, so I was going to use another limited edition, but it'll work out just fine. So again, through the jewelry pull a band just through that. Our next band goes through the first 3 loops, recapturing this first loop and then pulling it under and under like that, and then closing it up. Okay, so there it kind of incorporates my red into the outside. Okay, so we'll do a couple more, and then I think you guys will be good enough to finish until the end. So remember, it's always the first band just goes through the jewelry ring, and then the second band goes through the first 3 loops. And then we recapture this first band here, and then pull it through the remaining 2 loops on our hook. Like that. I don't like twisted bands. Trisha, Artisan Loom, loves to play with twisted bands. She'll sit there for an hour and untwist them. Not me. Alright, we'll do one more. So through our jump ring, one loop, one band through the second band through 3 loops. You want to make sure that your bands are staying in order as well. Pick up that first band and pull this one up and over, and then this last one here goes up and over as well. And then we just simply close it up like that. Okay, and I can tell already that I like these size jump rings because they're staying in place way better than my large ones did on my first rendition. Alrighty guys, let's go ahead and just finish this up all the way until we get to our clip, and then I'll show you what we're going to do up there, and then we will start the other side. Alright, so I finished my left side, so yours should look very similar to this. And I have those 2 bands remaining on my hook, so I'm just going to take out the one side of my clip and grab that left side of the band, pull it off the clip, and then pull it underneath these 2 bands like that, and then just place that band back on my clip. Okay, so because this border is the exact same on both sides, we don't have to do any flipping, so we can still start at the bottom as we did on the other side. And again, we just want to go through that cap band and pull a band through and chain 1. Now we're good to start. Kind of looking, okay, it'll work. Okay, so then we put that one jump ring on our hook, and we pull that band through the jump ring and close it up. And then we simply grab our next band and we pull it through 3 loops on our hook, recapturing the first one and pulling it through the 2 loops remaining on our hook and close it up. So the exact same as we did on the other side, go through the jump ring, pull a band through, and then our next band through the first 3, recapturing the first one, pulling it under the remaining loops, and close it up. So same exact process. Okay, so that's what it should look like as we are finishing and going up both sides. So let's go ahead and finish it all the way up till we get to our clip, and we'll meet back to see what our beautiful bracelet looks like. Alrighty, I am at the end of my last side here. So I want to do the same as I did before. I want to take this band and pull it under these two. But the way that my clip is facing, I need to take these two, put it on my hook, take my clip out, and then recapture this one here. Okay, so I'm pulling this black band under the two loops on my hook, like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and put this other side on and close it up by adding another black band for my C-clip. So just pulling that black band through like a boss. Now, if I can find a C-clip, but they never have them available. I think us tutors are very guilty of that all the time. So I have my C-clip, and I just want to add it to those two bands and take it off my hook. Like that. So here is our finished Dare to Jump bracelet. Kind of upset I didn't have enough jump rings to finish it because I got a really super cool kid that I know. His name is Ethan, and I think he'd probably like this bracelet. Maybe give it to him for a book bag tag or something. So there are a couple things that you can do, and it's all going to depend on what type of bands that you used on how your border is going to look. So you can tell in this one here, it's more loose and elegant, maybe more girly, you could say, because I used the metallic bands. And so for this one, it's a little bit more masculine, it's a little bit more sturdy because I used the limited edition in there. So I did it on this side off camera, but I'm going to show you on this side here. I'm just going to take a small hook, and I'm going to take and go through the two loops that are connected to the jump ring, and just kind of give it a little bit of a tug to pull those out. Like that. And that way it kind of makes all of your bands kind of in order there. So you may want to do this or you may not. Again, it's going to just depend on what type of bands that you used. Because they kind of might get hidden by, in my case, that red. So just pulling them out a tad. And you can see them all in the design. Okay, and so that's one side, and there's the other, and you can see that they are exactly the same. So pretty cool. And then we started in that cap band, so to close up you would just add your C-clip to that side and you'd have your bracelet. So for those of you that are finished, thank you so much for watching. Super appreciate it. Big shout out to Suzanne for another awesome design. But for those of you that would like to see a little bit done with a jewelry chain, so you are going to have to use a smaller hook, and we are going to be going through the sides of the chain like so. Okay, so again, this jewelry chain will take the place of making a rubber band single chain. So I'm going to grab some jump rings, and I'm just going to do a couple for you because it's not difficult, because it's the same exact concept. Okay, so we want to grab our bands, and in my case I'm going to use something that will show up. So it's near Christmas, let's use green. Alright, so again, in this case, because we're using a jewelry chain, we start in step 2, which is adding the band and the rings. So I'm going to put a few on my hook to start out. I'm going to start out in that first chain, just pull it through like this, and chain 1. I'm sorry. Pull it through, and then I'm going to add my jewelry ring. And then take off this side, add the jewelry ring, and put it back on my hook. Okay? I had to think for a minute because we're working down and it lies differently. Alright, so do you see how confused I was there for a second? Alright, so now we're going to start as we normally would. So we put our hook through the next link of the jewelry chain. Okay, so we're going to pull our band through the rubber band, the jewelry chain, and then the other end of the rubber band. And we're going to slide a jump ring down, go through our next link, and before we connect, we add our jewelry ring, close it up, and push it over like that. And then just as we did before, so then we just add, and you see why I say you work down? When it comes to jewelry, it'll keep those links straight for you. So we pull another band through, add our jewelry ring, go down to the next link, and you're working from the side of the chain. And then before we close up, add our jewelry link, jump ring, close up our band, and then simply pull it up and over. So it's the exact same concept, except you're just going to have one link down the center as opposed to using a rubber band chain. You're going to see those. Okay, so then just pull that band through like that, go through your next link, and then just continue to add your bands. So right here I'm going to stop as if I'm at the end. So I'm going to pull my last band through here, and then I'm just going to clip it off like that. Okay, so then imagine we just did the entire chain down, and then you would just repeat. Trying to get a color here, I'm going to use blue. So then you would just repeat. So you can go through the jewelry chain and then just do that chain 1, and then you just simply do the exact. You go through your jump ring, add 1 band, making sure they're in order, and then your next band goes through 3, reclaiming the first one, pulling it under those 2 back on. So then again through the jump ring, pulling that band, second band through all 3, reclaim, under, close it up. Grab some more of my bands. And then close it up. And then you would just, I chained like 1 extra here, but that's okay. So then you would take and slide under like we did before. Close it up. So then that's what it would look like. And then we would do the same. I'd flip it over, go through my jewelry chain, pull that band through, and then start in the first jump ring. And then go through the next. So it's the exact same, but instead of having a single chain of rubber bands down the center, we have a curved link chain. And then again, I just want to add oops, gosh, I hope that was on camera. I'm sorry. So I want to slide this green band under these two, like that. Add my extra band for closing. And close it up. So that's just a little bit of a section, but that's how you would incorporate a jewelry chain into this design. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching, always appreciated. Here are my two renditions. Thank you again to Suzanne for wonderful bracelets. Nice to see her adding the jewelry in. So very flat, durable, and can be elegant or masculine. So thanks again and take care. Bye-bye.